Precisely what is the Lexus LC? Today, it's my mission I've followed the many concept cars that contain led us to this particular fully functioning production model. Watch the many technical specs and be aware of the significance with this new platform, that is so flexible, which the next car to work with it will be the modern LS sedan. We're planning to see it in the upcoming 2017 Detroit Auto Show, even though the LS won't arrive, which has a healthy dose on the brand's edgy and distinctive design language. It's not hard to understand its positioning contrary to the likes with the 7 Series and S-Class. The 2018 Lexus LC, though? That's a tad trickier. During the press presentation we perceive a slideshow suggesting the BMW 650i $89,000, Mercedes S550 Coupe $122,750, and Jaguar F-Type R $105,400 as natural rivals. These relatively disparate cars aren't really rivals per other, so either the LC includes a never-before-seen bewatched of ability, or Lexus is fighting where the LC matches, too. And that's before they mention its dynamic benchmark, the Porsche 911. A coupe that weighs greater than 4,000 pounds, that's as serene being in S-Class, so that as exciting to be a car era as you've reached. Admire the ambition. So here's what we should do. The LC features a sports car shape that borrows heavily through the scintillating and wildly expensive LFA, stretched and teased to match a 2+2 seating layout and decorated together with the bold spindle grille and many samurai sword sharp details. I get lucky and love what looks, but you can find grimaces from colleagues' area, too. Better to be divisive than invisible, that's the brand new Lexus thought processes. The V8-powered LC500 and hybrid LC500 which features a 3.5-liter V6, 2 electric motors, a CVT and also a 4-speed automatic transmission, are visually distinguished only by their different badges. Lexus hasn't announced pricing yet, but expect it to dip just underneath the $100,000 mark. Some financial markets are positioning the 500 as being the flagship, others the V8 model. In the US most go gas, so expect that it is the premium and better specified model. Deliveries are hoped for to start in May of by. Beneath the controversial surfacing would be the new GAL Global Architecture, luxury platform. It utilizes steel, aluminum, and a few carbon fiber corner floor. The philosophy behind system was to build a new dynamic identity for Lexus, which has a lower center of gravity through improving the leading rear balance for enhanced agility. The main factors with this are reducing the engine by 0.4 inch and pulling it roughly 2 inches better the center from the car for any true front mid-engine layout. The LC also features aluminum hood and fenders, a fiberglass trunk lid, and you will specify a graphite roof. Plus, you will discover die-cast aluminum suspension towers, undertaking the interview process saving of 42% over steel. Forged aluminum suspension arms, as well as the engine bay has 6 aluminum braces to boost rigidity and steering response. Suspension is multi-link on the front and rear. The low center of gravity is palpable within the design on the LC, and once you approach it the lower hood line is striking. The wheels are pushed seam to the corners, along with the proportions look excellent. There's an innate litheness that radiates through the car. Considering the LC is virtually as long, being a 650i, wider as opposed to F-Type, and falls relating to the two with regards to height, it's impressive which the aura it emits urges towards performance car rather than hushed GT. It carries a longer wheelbase compared to BMW and Jaguar too, which speaks well because of its chances of doing it on the dynamic brief. It's a disappointingly heavy beast, though. The LC500 comes in with a groaning 4,280 pounds, along with the 500 hours is even heavier at 4,435 pounds. Both the BMW and Jaguar are considerably lighter and save Lexus blush, as we won't mention the 911 Carrera S carries in excess of 1,000 fewer pounds. My first taste with the LC is on the short blast on the center of Seville, Spain, on the Monteblanco race circuit within a LC 500 hours. The route takes inside the chaotic city and then some lovely sweeping roads. The bare figures tend to be less impressive compared to LC 500, which produces 471 horsepower at 7,100 revolutions per minute and 398 lb-ft of torque at 4,800 revolutions per minute. However, the 3.5-liter V6 is 295 horses at 6,600 revolutions per minute and 257 lb-ft at 4,900 revolutions per minute are supplemented through the second electric motor built in the transmission. The first acts like a generator. The total output can be a still modest 354 horsepower. The instantaneous torque delivery should build a much more muscular impression. The transmission on the LC 500 hours is heinously complicated. Nonetheless, it's essentially a 4-speed automatic that drives by using a CVT transmission to make 10 virtual ratios. This matches the newest 10-speed automatic gearbox featured from the LC 500. You didn't think 8 gears were enough, do you? I've Aichi got a warm, fuzzy feeling regarding the LC since it evokes memories on the LFA. Of course, I need to put that car's fiercely expensive materials, building, and shrieking engine beyond my mind, but I hope that this design themes carried over are discernible inside the way the LC moves, too. Expectation ramps up a notch further considering that the interior happens to be exquisite. Sadly, there's a TomTom navigation slapped for the windscreen simply because cars possess a US spec infotainment system without any European maps loaded, or perhaps it considering that the interface remains tricky to master using a short test out? I'll enable you to decide, but perhaps the ugly wire and grubby little screen can't detract from your minimalist architecture, artfully mixed materials, as well as the glorious and configurable dash watchout, which has plenty of LFA-inspired animation. The driving position is fantastic too, with all the tarmac scraping seat discreetly amping up the drama, and it's paired using a very low hoodline that means feel absolutely relaxed. Slipping quietly through Seville, the LC feels as though a fine location to be. The adaptive variable suspension is smooth, however allows you to feel linked with a low, broad, and obviously very stiff chassis. Even the fitment of run-flat tires doesn't tend and patter and thump, upsetting the supple composure. Perhaps there's more road noise than you'd expect of the hybrid Lexus, but there's much greater steering response, too. The electric steering is fast, 2.6 turns lock-to-lock, accurate, and you may really appreciate an added bracing along with the rigidity it breeds. Even the gearbox is decisive and provide a direct, most like feeling. There isn't the clean, sharp action you get that has a dual clutcher or even best conventional autos, but no less than the V6 engine isn't braying such as a demented donkey out of the box so often, just how with continuously variable transmissions. As the path opens, the Lexus LC remains impressively composed. However, the original cohesion and consistency does will erode and doubts creep in. The enhanced soundtrack with the stereo speakers isn't especially pleasant nor natural. The gearbox suddenly begins to betray itself with slower shifts and strange moments. The location where the revs hang in a fixed RPM, plus the sheer performance available, feels slightly disappointing. Oh, it's fast hybrid, 0 to 60 miles per hour in 4.7 seconds and 155 miles per hour full scale, but from time to time 354 horses versus 4,435 pounds seems like a one-sided argument. To be fair, the chassis response doesn't get overwhelmed because of the mass. Along with the LC 500, our steers sweetly possesses body movements with efficiency inside the more aggressive Sport S and Sport S Plus driving modes. But you sense this can be a car looking for an engine to really make it sing. The LC 500 awaits us within the pit lane at Circuito Monteblanco. Maybe that's the important thing to unlocking its potential. I jostle myself for the front on the queue with the ultimate spec LC 500. It features the sports package, consisting of a graphite roof, 21-inch wheels shod with Michelin Pilot Super Sport tires along with a speed-activated rear wing. To further sharpen the vehicle's focus furthermore, it features the Lexus Dynamic Handling LDH rear wheel steering system, which often can dial by 50% degrees of angle and enhances agility at low and medium speeds and stability in top speed situations. LDH also brings a Torsen limited slip differential. In short, this could be the LC in the height of that powers. From the instant the 5-liter V8 booms into life, I know the hybrid 500 hours is little in excess of a sideshow. An intriguing, notable and convincing car in isolation, but blown clean away when it comes to excitement through the V8 model. These two cars are likely to use a very similar price, so you must be a saint or really resist paying for gas to contemplate the hybrid. That much I know through the moment the primary drop of fuel ignites. A dozen approximately laps later I know plenty more, but that first instinct is simply reinforced. On track I've dialed your vehicle right around to Sport S Plus mode, therefore configured the 10-speed gearbox is exceptional. It hits hard and clean being a dual clutcher, and even though it sometimes resists aggressive downshift requests within the paddles, just a little double beep a minimum of lets you know that you'll need another millisecond or a pair of patience before it'll offer you that optimum gear. Better that when compared to a quiet denial simply to leave you floundering in excess of a gear mid-turn. You might think that 10 gears is too many. I tend to agree. But whereas I expected to acquire lost among the ratios from circuit, it's so quick and effective that I just used my ears to keep the automobile right from the sweet spot. Ah, yes, the noise. Unlike the 500 hours, the V8's dry, multi-layered howl is all natural. Sure, they pipe it to the cabin, but there's no digital manipulation. It sounds glorious. So the soundtrack and drivetrain response creates an expectation this big coupe could most likely take for the 911 in fact. So to the very first few corners, because the LDH system effectively shrinks the wheelbase to build fast reactions and help in reducing understeer. The track is greasy and cold, nevertheless the LC 500 copes well. The large 6-piston brakes staying pretty firm and resisting that horrible juddering that will make lapping feel as if torture. The car locks onto line smoothly, plus the V8's linear, slightly torque-light delivery allows the trunk tires to seek out good traction. Of course the weight actually starts to tell in time. Get too greedy with turn-in speed along with the rear steer can't stop the top washing wide. Try to be the last from the late breakers and you'll sail at night turn-in point. The sports vehicle vibe is real, nonetheless it's the sort of fancy car that's more at home with a smoothly winding road, instead of scratching its way around a track. A 911 Carrera S could be long gone, its driver beaming and completely absorbed. Having said that, a BMW 650i might drop away in the Lexus in the same way rapidly, as well as the F-Type might provide more raw entertainment, but furthermore, it demands far more skill. The LC is usually a compromise, but maybe, just by once, for that good. A few laps from the 500 hours highlights as well as lazier response of their gearbox along with the softer edged feel to each dynamic facet in the car. It's amusing throwing a hybrid Lexus into a slide and discovering its well-balanced and simple to drive well at night limit, but you'll nevertheless be pining to the sharper V8. On the trail, the 500's added athleticism is every bit as noticeable with every shift, every turn, and each and every time you crack open the throttle. It sounds and feels so considerably more up for a little of fun. Even so, the understeer that can learn to dominate for the track does rear its head in fast road driving, too. It's not even close to chronic, but it really does just remind you that it car is usually a GT first and sports vehicle second. Better to dial back a tad, experience the lovely engine, punchy 10-speed, along with the effortlessly cool interior. Just don't volunteer to sit within the back. Rear accommodation is obviously one area the Lexus LC does bear comparison using a Porsche 911. 2018 Lexus LC specifications. On sale. Spring 2017. Price: $100,000 base estate. Engine: 3.5 liters stock 24-valve V6, 295 horsepower at 6,600 revolutions per minute, 257 lb-ft at 4,900 revolutions per minute, plus Lexus multi-stage hybrid system with 131.9 kW electric motor, total system output 354 horsepower LC 500 hours. 5.0 liters stock 32-valve V8, 471 horsepower at 7,100 revolutions per minute, 398 lb-ft at 4,800 revolutions per minute LC 500. Transmission: continuously variable gearbox connected to 4-speed automatic, 10 virtual ratios LC 500 hours. 10-speed automatic LC 500. Layout: 2-door, 4-passenger, front engine, RWD coupe. EPA mileage: Na. LXWXH 187.4 by 75.6 by 53.0 inches, wheelbase 113.0 inches, weight 4,435 pounds LC 500 hours 4,280 pounds LC 500 060 miles per hour 4.7 seconds LC 500 hours 4.4 seconds LC 500 Top speed 155 miles per hour LC 500 hours 168 miles per hour LC 500